because it's serious, We are talking about the education of the youth, ladies and gentlemen. JTA blast slow pace of Hurricane Melissa repairs. No, Nara go fix everything, my general. Now worry yourself.
Sports, business,
Nara
entertainment.
go fix everything here, President.
President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mark Malabver, is accusing the Ministry of Education of dragging their feet in restoring schools damaged by Hurricane Melissa. Malabver is contending that this dawdling is obvious in the National Education Trust's net own admission that there are insufficient inspectors to oversee the $24.8 billion school renovation program. I am wondering why at this point, if you are short of 40 inspectors, why did you not take necessary steps to have these inspectors in place? If it is even to pull on students from the University of Technology. Malabver is contending that this dawdling is obvious in the National Education Trust's net own admission that there are insufficient inspectors to oversee the $24.8 billion school renovation program. I am wondering why at this point, if you are short of 40 inspectors, why did you not take necessary steps to have these inspectors in place?
Unbelievable.
If it is even to pull on students from the University of Technology, for example, in those various departments to help us to bolster the inspection regime, he said. Speaking with the Gleaner on Monday, NET Executive Director Latoya Harris-Gatti said at least 40 on-site building inspectors are needed to adequately oversee the massive school restoration program. She said the agency is urgently trying to recruit 15 inspectors as an immediate measure, while acknowledging that significantly more personnel will ultimately be required. Malabver said the JTA undertook a tour of schools in Western Jamaica in June and wrote to the ministry expressing concern about the slow pace of repairs. During the tour, the JTA said it found little evidence of the level of activity that would be expected if the schools were to be restored by September, the beginning of the 2026/2027 academic year.
I'm dead!
It said isolated instances.
You don't know what that mean? The school then now open September. And if there was unfortunately to be a disaster, if I even want tropical storm, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, say, I chop. Judge, Father, God.
Instances of work.
Man.
It said isolated instances of work being done were observed, and it was advised that contractors have been mobilized. However, in many schools, contractor presence appeared limited, construction activity appeared minimal, visible progress was inconsistent with the urgency of the situation, and the pace of work did not inspire confidence that the completion targets would be met. Clearly, they should have taken necessary steps to exert pressure on the contractors to get the job done. Clearly, they have dragged their feet in terms of putting the right framework in place to hold the contractors accountable, Malabver told the Gleaner. According to him, if some schools were to reopen in their current state, that would constitute a violation of the International Labour Organization Convention of Occupational Health and Safety, and the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child.
Embarrassing!
Minister of Education Dana Morris Dixon has acknowledged that not all repair work on schools will be completed in time for the reopening on September 6. However, last week she said she was encouraged by the progress of the rehabilitation program. We have to be transparent.
No, that lady always talk two-way out her mouth. I can't, all you have to say, you acknowledge that all repairs work on schools will you acknowledge that not all repair work on schools will be completed in time for the reopening September 6th. However, last week you say you're encouraged by the progress. How can you be encouraged if school now open September? September would be what? Let me see. September, October, 11 months. 11 months. Yo, people take people from man. Brother, joke thing this, brother. Go see there now.
Transparent in terms of what's happening in our schools, and we will be transparent throughout the process. And as I said, because so many of the schools need complete rebuild, they're not all going to be finished for September. Work will be continuing throughout the period, she stated. Latest news. Western Bureau. The National Education Trust, NET, says at least 40 clerks of works, on-site building inspectors, are needed to adequately oversee the massive school restoration program following Hurricane Melissa, warning that current staffing levels are insufficient for the scale of repairs. Speaking to the Gleaner on Monday, NET Executive Director Latoya Harris Gatti said the agency is urgently trying to recruit 15 clerks of works as an immediate measure, while acknowledging that significantly more personnel will ultimately be required. Under the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information's MOSII Hurricane Melissa School Infrastructure Recovery Program, $24.8 billion has been allocated for repairs to schools damaged by the Category 5 hurricane on October 28, 2025. Up to July 20, some $3.86 billion had been spent. NET has 3 persons that have been redeployed from other areas as project managers, with one focusing on donor-supported projects, and we have on staff about 4 project managers and a senior project manager, and a civil engineer that is doubling up as a project manager now. We are trying to get, for now, at least 15 clerks of works to be in the different areas, and we are trying to find persons within the geographical zones, said Harris Gatti. She added that NET also requires at least 5 additional project managers and more quantity surveyors to verify contractors' payment claims. When you run the numbers, it would be good to have at least 40 clerks of works within the zones, because your clerks of works are really supposed to be on the site constantly, Harris Gatti explained. Instead, NET has adopted a stopgap approach. What we are doing is a model where we get roving clerks of works assigned to more than one project site, and they can check on a daily basis and let us know if the contractors are working, she told the Gleaner. The personnel shortage comes as the government pushes ahead with repairs to 688 schools across Jamaica's 7 education regions.
Wow.
Of those, 311 schools have been classified as Priority 1 after sustaining severe hurricane damage, including 102 schools in Region 4, which covers St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland. In a Sunday Gleaner story this week, the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, JAPSS, raised concern about the lack of clarity on whether contracts have been signed for repairs to schools that were damaged by Hurricane Melissa. The group also called for an outlining of the accountability structures for project managers to get work done, citing the apparent slow pace of recovery and lack of accountability for governmental post-Melissa restoration aid. Responding to the query about accountability, Harris Gatti said that project managers are responsible for providing weekly and monthly status reports, and that contractors are required to provide regular progression reports about the projects they are responsible for. The project managers visit the sites once a month, at minimum, and the contractors submit reports to the project manager. The contract recognizes the project manager as the project engineer, and the project manager is the one that gives instructions to the contractor, she said.
Thank you, Freedom. Thank you, darling.
Right now, what we are doing is to try and close out the projects that are at an advanced stage, so that the resources that we have can be redeployed to other sites that need to come on stream. Then we can focus on the rebuild aspect, and we are also assessing what are the additional requirements, the NET executive director continued. According to the MOSII, up to July 20 this year, 30 of the 311 Priority 1 schools have completed their post-Melissa restoration work, while 84 are categorized as being near completion. Another 48 schools are classified as having between 51 to 79% progression, 52 schools as having between 21 to 50% progression, and 30 schools as having 20% or less completion and requiring contractor resource audits. Additionally, 13 school sites are categorized as being set to have work commence soon, or 52 sites are to be given site possession, 1 requires urgent data entry, and 1, the Sam Sharp Teachers College in St. James, needs its field status verified.
So ladies and gentlemen, all of that last part don't mean nothing. You know why? them not have the people, they need 40 people, ladies and gentlemen. 40 people were qualified. Thank you so much again, Freedom, for the gift, darling. Thank you so much. I appreciate you always. An honorable member of the platform. Dana Morris Dixon them, hey, Mr. I don't know. Let me ask one question. At what point in this whole Andrew Holness, you know what I'm saying? Andrew Holness, like, at what point has education, the Ministry of Education succeeded and excelled and has been excellent under the Andrew Holness led administration? I really want the labor right them out there to answer me honestly. When has, under this man's tenure, Andrew Holness legacy, when have you seen the Ministry of Education excel in performance? Please, somebody tell me, when have you seen that happen? Is either they are purposely trying to destroy the education system, or they are incompetent? Are them wicked? Because you see the situation with the railway in a court and what he's being accused of, the implications of that. Man, listen. Yo, this is unbelievable, Bridget. Unbelievable. So much is like everything under this government fails, bro. And it's not even an exaggeration. That's the bad part about it. If it was an exaggeration, it would have bad and not too bad. You know? Where's the article? You have the JT have to come out and blast them. And you notice what he said in this article? They went there to visit schools themselves. Right? And most of the schools there, if they were to reopen in the state, in that state, it would violate international laws. According to him, if some schools were reopened in their current state, that would constitute a violation of International Labour Organization Convention of Occupational Health and Safety and the United Nations Convention of the Rights of Children. And we must remember that Mr. Damian Crawford has carried the government to court, right, about the education system. So there's a pattern here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a pattern here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I mean, well, before I go there, this particular story is really funny, right? This is hilarious. I don't know what's going on here. But I want not just pick up Isaac Buchanan. I like this post right here that one of the comrades them put up, Junior Chung. East Portland now have leadership for drive progress, not excuses. Your MP, your voice, your action man. Trailer park and road improvement, work in progress. Free community events and family fun, building unity. Action in the face of all challenges, finding solutions. Listening, planning, delivering. That's how we move in East Portland. Tablet drive for the kids, helping the students learn and stay connected. Big up MP night football competition in progress, worth 1.9 million. More projects, more development, more opportunities, and we're just getting started. Can you imagine if the People's National Party was the government at this point? The type of things that Isaac Buchanan would have behind him to get done in that area. The ideas, I mean, education. Isaac Buchanan's plan has a lot to do with education, right? So of course, you would not have to ask. You would have to see some excelling at one. But this one right here is funny, guys. Westmoreland man charged after allegedly leaving voters ID at house he robbed. Sir, you rob a place, you get catch. Repent. Gotta give you a second chance. Move away from the life of crime. This is a sign, my brother. This is a sign. You go rob somebody and you left your ID there accidentally. No man, yeah. If you take this as a sign, Bridge. Take it as a sign. Just take it as a sign. can't make this up. Take it as a sign, my brother. Do the right thing, yeah? That is it. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I just wanted to share that. Just to like the mood of it. No, sir.